meditate for some time. Are you comfortable? Is it here? So we start chapter 18, Malabhagu. These defilements. So the first four verses associated with one story. Story I'll read out first and then we'll read the four verses. This is about a butcher who used to eat beef curry every day, and one day he had put aside some meat and then his wife saw it and sold it out. She didn't realize. So when he came he found there was no meat, so he went off and cut off the tongue of an ox because he couldn't live without it, and then asked his wife to prepare and eat it. So when he was eating that food, then he bit off his own tongue, and in the process he died in great pain. He was in painful state. Seeing this, his son was quite afraid that he would also get into similar trouble. So he went to leprosy and became a goldsmith and had a family. So he came back and then found that his children were followers of Buddha, but he was not. So one day they invited Buddha and the monks for food, and after the meal they told him that they were doing this offering on behalf of their father and requested him to give a discourse. So having looked at the goldsmith, he gave these four verses, recited these four verses. So that is the context. So,
पंडू पापाला सव दानी से यामा पूरी सापी चाहते
उपटित्ता
उयु गोमा कुखे चा तिथिथसी आते यम्पी चाहते न विचति.
पंडु कलासो दानी सी. पंडु मतलब पीला. पांडु नहीं, राजा पांडु ये तो वेद है. This illness which became yellow for jaundice. That's how we got the name Pandu, Pandav. So Pandu means yellow, Palasa means leaf, Danisi is short form of Dani, this or it. So it is like a withered leaf, yellowed leaf you have become, यम पुरुषापि च उपस्थिता, यम पुरुषा, यम यम के जो पुरुष हैं वो भी च उपस्थिता, वो भी आ गए हैं. They come before Nehru, so he's telling the old man. Yoga mukhe chautikthasi. Yoga means death. Mukhe means death के मुंह पे. But you're standing in front, mouth of death. Chautikthasi means standing. पाथेयम अपि च न चटे न विद्यति. पाथेय होता है ना, जब आप ट्रैवल करते हैं तो आपको साथ रखते हैं खाने के लिए. उस जमाने में तो रखते ही थे, because they had to travel on forests and other things. चट्टा न विद्यति, तुमने कुछ रखा ही नहीं अपने लिए. No provision for your future journey. That's the way he gave the verse. Very beautiful verse.
सो करोहि दीपमत्तनो क्षिप्रम वायम पंडितो भव निधन्तन्मलो अंगनो दिव्यम अर्यभूमं भूमिं उपेहिसि.
सो करोहि दीपम अत्तान, अपने आप को अत्तान, अपने आप को एक द्वीप बनाना. Make an island of yourself or a refuge of yourself. क्षिप्रम वायाम पंडितो भव. क्षिप्र मतलब जल्दी जल्दी करो, शीघ्र करो. वायाम मतलब एफर्ट करो and become a wise. So strike quickly and become wise. Nidhanta malo anangano. Nidhanta means is removed, cleared it. So having removed the impurities and anangano जिसमें कोई blemish नहीं रह गया, without any blemishes. दिव्यम अर्य भूमामि, अर्य भूमामि भूमिम उपेहिसि. दिव्य भूमि को, दिव्य अर्य की भूमि को जहाँ पे नोबल बन जाते हैं, you will approach that place. Upehithi means you will approach. Do that, you will approach the place of the noble ones, heavenly place of the noble ones.
उपयुक्त वयो च दानीसी संपया तुलसी यमस संतिके वासो ते नथि अंतरा पाथेयंपि च तेना विजयति.
Same thing is being said in different words. उपनीता वयो च दानीसी. उपनीत means खत्म हो गई है. वयो means आयु. दानीसी तेरी आयु जो है खत्म हो गई है. संपयो यात्रोसी यमस्य सन्निके. संतिके मतलब उसके नजदीक. You are now getting close to the presence of Yama. वासो न तिष्ठति अंतरा. पाथे अपि चलते विद्यते. रोज the same thing. वासो न नथि अंतरा. वासो मीन्स वास, कोई रहने की जगह नहीं है. नथि नहीं है, अंतरा में रास्ते में. So there is no resting place for you, and you also made no provisions for your journey. Next, आप पढ़ेंगे.
सो करोहि दीपमत्तनो क्षिप्रम वायाम पंडितो भव निधन्तमलो अनांगनो न पूर्णं जातिरम उपनिषि.
So this is a slight variation from the earlier one. So करोहि दीपमत्तानो, अपने आप को आइलैंड बना लो. ठीक है, आइलैंड द्वीप बना लो. क्षिप्रम वायाम पंडित को, वायाम एफर्ट करो. शिव से become quickly do effort and become wise. दिगंतमलो, remove the impurities. Anangano, without any blemishes. Na punam jati rajam upayesi. This portion has been changed. punam jati, दोबारा तुम्हारा birth नहीं होगा. जाति जरा, birth and old age नहीं होगा. This is the word he used. You will never again come to birth and age. So these are the 4 verses of blessings which he gave to the old man.
But what's the, I must have missed it, the connection with his father's story, the
father's story kind of created a volition in him that he should not do same thing again. His father was a butcher, no?
Right.
So he gave up that profession and went to become a goldsmith.
Right, that I got. And then,
But still, goldsmith, he was a goldsmith. When his children and all were disciples of Buddha, he still was not. He didn't want to. for whatever reasons, we don't know that. So when he came back to meet his children, then they thought that he should be helping get the Buddha's blessing should be given to their father.
So he was kind of exhortation to the goldsmith.
Goldsmith. He was now old. Not to the earlier butcher, he died anyway. So now we have to study the sutta which Deepak wanted us to study. So I briefly gone through it and written down some words which I found very difficult, so I'll read out to you. So it's a long one. It's called Sallekha Sutta. The word Sallekha itself, I found there are different meanings in it, and in various variations there are different things. Actually, the literal meaning of Sallekha is austerities, penance, but there are also meaning called higher life. So when I went through it, I found the word higher life also fits in at most of the places. But in some places it does not fit in. So the Venerable Mayaponika has made a word out of it, effacement, trying to become, give up or renounce or penance, whatever. So we start. Evam me sutam, ekam samayam bhagava savathyam viharati jetavane anath pindikasya. I think you have heard many times now. So
आराम करें.
Atko ayasma mahachundo sayam samayam pattisallana uttito yena bhagavate naupusankamya. This also we have, these words we have read so many times. Only the name of the person has changed. In time it is the Venerable Mahachunda. So that is the name of the monk. He got up from seclusion and went to the Blessed One. Sankami means went to this. Upasankamitva Bhagavantan Abhivadetva Ekamantam Vishidi. So having approached him, he अभिवादन किया और एक तरफ बैठ गए, एक तरफ बैठ गए, इसी में बैठ गए.
Is it that many of these discourses actually happen in Savatthi? Is there a historical reason?
Yeah, that's why there's a great kind of historical importance given to that place, and so out of the places of pilgrimage of those who are devotees of Buddha, Savatthi is a very important place. So if you see, I have not been there till now, but I am told by Bhagavan that just as in Bodh Gaya and in Sarnath, all the Buddhist countries, monasteries are there. Similarly in Savatthi also there are monasteries of all the people. Because he stayed there for almost 25 years. 25 rain retreats. They used to have vasas, so they move out during the period. So 25 times he stayed there. So people have a good feeling that yes, this is the place where we should go.
साउथ कहाँ है सर?
ये यूपी में ही है, गोरखपुर के पास है. एक उसका नाम अजीब से नाम है उस स्टेशन का. सर एथ में से ऐसा कुछ नाम है.
But sir, what is this thing of sitting on a side? ये बार बार आता है.
हाँ, तो वो ट्रेडिशन रहा है कि अब आप टीचर बैठे हैं तो आप पहले उनका अभिवादन करेंगे, then you'll sit like this on the side, not sit exactly opposite to him. Sit on the side, okay. And then ask the question. That is must have been the tradition in the past.
आप इधर आ जाइए.
Apparently they would also not sit cross-legged. ऐसा भी कुछ था ना? They would sit in a particular posture.
हाँ, नहीं वो तो people would sit in, I don't know about that. I haven't seen any specific mention, but since Buddha advises people to sit cross-legged all the way, every time, so there's, I think, because his instruction always has been sit cross-legged straight, Nahasati Patthana Sutta, you remember that.
Right.
Doing Anapana, you have to sit straight and this and that. So I think most of the people followed it, and there are a few references to monks sitting like that in some discourses.
In meditation, but apparently when they receive the discourse, ये Watpam Nana Shatra मैंने ये समझा है. So they actually sit in the position in which they are sitting.
Maybe with the Pucha, maybe.
Apparent.
Must be sitting like this.
Yeah, so with the leg sort of sticking out, and one of the Western monks says that it was so painful. That's how I know that they would sit that way.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Really malum. एक मंथन निसिन्नो तो आयस्मा महाचंदो भगवंतम एक तरफ बैठे हुए वेनरेबल आयुष्मान महाचंद्र ने भगवान से ऐसा कहा। व्यायमा भंते अनेक विहिता दिष्ठियो लोके उपज्जन्ति। Venerable sir, Bhante, there are so many kinds of views which arise in this world. Attavad pati samyukta, lokavad pati samyukta. Some of them are doctrines related to self, some are doctrines related to the world. अत्ता मतलब self के लिए और लोक के लिए, संसार के लिए। आदि में निको भंते विप्नो मनसी करो तो एवं एक सन दिठिनम पहानम होती। एवं एक सन दिठिनम कति निसद्दो होती। It says, does the Bhante Venerable sir, does in the beginning itself, Adi means in the beginning, does in the beginning itself of the process of meditation or the diffuse mansi karoto evam tesam dithinam, that they are able to kind of discard those views even in the beginning itself, or beginning of practice or beginning of meditation or reflection. So is it that the abandoning and discarding of such views comes about? No, dithin is actually wrong view. So does the discarding of such wrong views come about in a monk who just started meditation? So it sounds a very strange question, isn't it? So I read it in the commentary, in the notes, that probably this question was asked by Mahachandra, who was an Arhant. He asked it because some of the monks used to say that within very short time कि हम तो सब क्लियर हो गया, हमको सारी दिक्कतें दूर हो गई, सब हो। So as to, and it was basically because of their meditative attainments, in terms of jhana and all. Because jhana, when you are great in jhana, you got a great peace and things. So probably, I mean, commentary can only guess, na? That might have been the reason. So he wanted Buddha to tell them what is the real meaning of effacement or real meaning of discarding of wrong views and getting into right view, and what can be a kind of an imposter, that you feel that you have got right view, but that is not true. So that's why this course is given a great importance, because he spelled out in whole detail what is the very very small thing which you all know actually, but he spelled them out in numbers, such a large numbers, so that people can understand that these are real things important for the journey on the path, and these are lesser important. They are helpful, but not great important. That is it. Because when I read this question, I found that, and there was mentioned Mahachandra was Arhant, why should you ask this question? So people used to ask him not just for their own sake, for the sake of others also questions would be asked. Sometimes I will find Sariputta asking a question or Moggallana asking a question, just because of this reason that the monks who have come, they didn't want to acknowledge them themselves. So Buddha says that things will be different. आवाज नहीं आ रही?
So this question from Shilesh is that is wrong view here is Sakhyaditi.
Wrong view here means various kinds of wrong views. You have a view about self as well as about world. Some people think self is permanent, something it is not permanent, other thing world is permanent, world is not permanent, other thing the self and world are different. So many kind of philosophies. He clumps everything, even including the view that there is no self. That also is a view, there is no meaning of that. So he never says there is no self. He says, Panchapada. He says, that's why translation of anatta, many people have pointed out, should be not self, not no self. You mean, this is not self. The body-mind complex is not self. He never bothered to tell you whether it is there or not. Why do you get bothered about it? if there is any metaphysical thing and all. So those kinds of, at that time, there must have been large kind of use prevalent as we find from other discourses. So people wanted that we should be free from those views, because only then you can really progress in that sense of understanding them. यावनाचंद्र अनेक भीता वित्थियो लोके पज्जन्ति अर्थवाद प्रतिसंयुक्ता वा लोकवाद प्रतिसंयुक्ता यथा चेतो वित्थियो पज्जन्ति यथा च अनुसेति यथा च समुदाचरन्ति तम नेतं नम एषोऽहमस्मि न मे सोऽप्ताति एवमेतं यथाभूतं सम्मपन्याय पश्यतो एवमेतस्य वित्थिनां पहानं होति एवमेतत्सं वित्थिनो पदमी सकते the abandoning cutting sublimation abandoning cessation discarding of these ways takes place only in whom yathabhutam sammapanyaya pasyato, who sees as things are in wisdom. What does he say? What does he see? That if those people, as to the various kinds of views regarding world, regarding self-doctrine, and he repeats the same word, and regarding the world, if the object in which these views arise, in which they underline, anuseti means they are latent, they underlie that, and then they become right, they become active, then a person who sees these things more clearly, with right wisdom as it actually is, how does he see it clearly? This is not me, this is not mine, this is not myself. So this is a fundamental, as I said, kind of a mantra. Yes. Everywhere this is seen to be a very important thing. Whatever you see, it's not saying what you are seeing, whatever you see, whatever you experience, put this as the understanding behind it. It's not me, it's not mine, it's not myself. And if this is seen, then the abandoning of these views will take place. Only if it is seen in that manner. So that is the kind of a gist of everything. Then he gives the great detail of everything, which it is not and what it is. In various steps is given.
That's very interesting. So why do you say that this is also a view? आपने अभी कहा पहले कि ये भी केवल एक धारणा है.
View means is only a analytical, intellectual understanding that there is no self. Buddha never said there is no self. Buddha said these five khandhas, body-mind complex, his modern word, is not your true self. That's what he said. He didn't say whether there is any self or not. Because he said there is not no use. The self is created as a fiction because we associate it with the body-mind complex. We don't associate it with anything else, then why bother about what is happening? That's why these questions, what happens after death, whether you are go to some place or remain or not remain, they are useless questions. You know it when time arises. The issue is you are suffering and you find a way out of it. Because otherwise you will get remain in those kind of speculations, thinking, and try to put it into some way into practice. I am not this. Either way, you will get into trouble. If you believe that there is nothing after death, then also you will get into trouble. If you believe there is something which is permanent after death, then also you will get into trouble. One will be annihilationism, other will be permanency. So you don't get into all that, right? There is no need. So that's how he says, I answer only those things which are conducive to progress in Dharma, nothing else. So he refused to answer this question about is there a self or not a self. He didn't answer this question. There's that sutta. I think you have studied that sutta. And then he even said, नहीं बताओगे मैं चला जाऊँगा. So that's a very subtle point, because we tend to otherwise grasp this also as a view, grasping of the view there is no self. He is not saying there is no self. He is saying this is not your true self. This is not what you should get attached to. And that is the cause of suffering. Taking this as me, mine, myself is the cause of suffering. So when you take anything as with me, mine, myself, will suffer. That's the key. Because there's nothing in this world which is permanent. Nothing in this world on which you have complete control. But if there is something which is yours, then you should have control on it. Things are changing according to the laws of nature, and you keep on observing it, assuming this is me, that is me. In one discourse, I don't know whether you read it, it tells people that see this hut is made here. Suppose somebody was to take the thatches of the hut and remove it out and burn it. Do you think you have been burnt? No. Why? See, this does not belong to me. Similarly, body does not belong to you. Don't bother. So, that kind of metaphors you use, similes you use to drive home this point. Because it's quite tough, quite counterintuitive to think of that. So, various ways try to make us understand this. And this
is a question.
This mantra is of great help, Everywhere you can apply without any exception.
So I have used this a lot, but then I switched to, I think, what the Anathilaka Dukkha says, which is this me, is this mine? Because then you get into investigative mode rather than reinforcing the perception that this is not me, this is not mine, this is not myself. Then you get into this.
The whole idea of that is to investigate.
Right.
When you say this is not you should not accept what the guy is saying. Why should you?
So it helped me a lot when I turned this around to a question that, is this me? Let me see. Is this mine? Is this myself? That helped a lot when I turned this around.
When you sit and want to meditate and damn thoughts come, what is going on? Obviously it's not me. Nothing is सोचना चाहता. Why the hell are they coming? So you can see that you are being taken for a ride. शांति से बैठना था, फालतू विचार आ जा रहे हैं, जिनमें कोई से रहना पा रहा है. So you can see it's not me, obviously not me. If it had been me, I would have said शांत हो जा भाई, मत कुछ परेशान मत करो मुझे. I don't want to do that. And things are happening. I don't want to become old and things are happening. What do I do? Beyond me. So you can investigate and then see that it's really true. It's not something like a philosophy. It's something which is within our experience.
It has not to be interpreted as there is no self. It's not to be interpreted like that.
It's to be seen that whatever falls within our experience is not me, not myself. That is not. If there is anything beyond it, we don't know what is there. And there are many that's not all philosophies. See, there is one consciousness which is pervading everywhere. That's a philosophy. It may be right or wrong. I'm not saying anything about it. But the fact that there is consciousness cannot be denied. Because we are conscious of it.
This is a question from Silesh. What is the difference between this is I am not versus this is not myself?
Yeah, these are the kind of finer issues, one is, this is not mine, which means it does not belong to me. Other is, this I am not, that is, I am not in this thing, this is not myself. So they are seen as three ways of distinction. One is seen from the perspective of grasping of it, that this, whatever experience comes, you take it as belonging to me. Second one is seen as this experience itself I am. So one is something belonging to me, other is what I am. And third is seen, this is my real nature. This kind of distinction. They are very subtle distinctions here.
And so there is one more question from Sudhakar. The five aggregates are not me/mine, but what clinging to these can be called dukkha? But why clinging to these can be called dukkha?
No, you don't call them, you feel it. It's not a question of calling, no? It's actually we suffer. I don't have to ask you that I am suffering. I am. There's no need for anybody to tell me. There is the experience of suffering. That's it.
The question was refined.
Who clings? There's nobody who is clinging. There is clinging happening. That's it. That is the real kind of paradox which is there. There is suffering, but no one who is suffering. There is liberation, but no one who gets liberated. So it's only if you want to put it in a sentence, there is, then you have to see it from the Abhidhammic perspective, what is happening, how the life is going ahead, and then that becomes at our level of understanding becomes more like a philosophy. But we can get intimations of it, that basically, there's one Lama Surya Das had written, which I put in my research. What is happening in this whole world is that impersonal karma is rolling on and things are happening. There are streams of karma rolling on and they manifest as X, as Y, as Z, as tiger, as tree, as something, and things are happening on their own. Only in human being is that ability of self-reflection and bringing about a transformation. So that is also inbuilt in this stream of karma. Because there is suffering, there is the reaction, then there is investigation. So all those factors are inbuilt into the various mental factors. So we have the stream of consciousness and various mental factors. And those mental factors have a kind of self-regulating mechanism or self-developing mechanism. And the kind of provocation, or what should I say, the instigation comes from suffering. Once you suffer, then you begin to investigate. Kya ho raha hai? Because you take it personally, and then you try all kinds of means. ऐसा कर लो, नौकरी चेंज कर लो, वाइफ चेंज कर लो, हस्बैंड चेंज कर लो, कुछ तो करो, कुछ नहीं हुआ. Then you say अब क्या करें? Then you begin to think या कहीं और भी गड़बड़ नहीं है. So that's all inbuilt in there. It's again not personal game. It's all inbuilt in the whole dynamics of mental factors. So when you study that Abhidhamma properly, you realize it's really impersonally happening and unnecessarily taking it personally. It's easy to understand when you read it, but when you come to life again, the same thing, that tenacious holding on takes place. So that is the real issue, How do we kind of abide in that understanding all the time? So that will happen by practice. There is no other way. There is no other way of doing it.
जब आपने ये कहा that this is only possible in the human realm, I also heard that in other planes of existence, this is not possible, even in the more rarefied planes of existence.
The reason is not that there is something fundamentally wrong with them, because this amount of suffering is very low. That is the reason. So in some place, Buddha points out that those who in Devaloka, or especially in Brahmaloka and all, they don't experience suffering. They are all the time in delight and happiness and abiding in peace and tranquility. So they can't understand what is happening, what is suffering. Only when they are about to die, and that happens after millions of years, then they realize to gabad ho gayi. So that's why there is a Baka Brahma discourse is there, in one of these Nikayas, I don't know which one. That Buddha, every morning he used to meditate and see whom should I give a discourse. So he remembers, he sees this Baka Brahma in one of the highest planes. He has been my fellow monk in some life. He is not there here, so let me go and give him a discourse. And he goes there. He is not ready to listen to him. This is what is, I mean, absolute peace. I have all the powers. I can see anything. I can do anything. Then he says, okay, and he says, okay, if you think you have enough power, let us compare our powers. Then they have a duel of fight. Sometimes they duel, He says, okay, you hide and I will hide and seek the kill. You hide and I will find out. And then I will hide and you find out. He says, okay, if you succeed, then I will listen to you. And obviously he can't. He tries to hide anywhere in the Brahmaloka and Buddha is there in front of him. And then when Buddha disappears, he can't find anywhere. He goes around whole thing like Brahmaloka, Devaloka, Earth. He can't find him anywhere. He says, where have you gone? So then we understand. I think something is wrong with my understanding. I have a limitation of something. Because you can't understand the limitation. So once he understands limitation, then he tells him, okay, come on, tell what you have to say. So that is the real issue. No? So he points out that in those higher deified realms, people just don't feel like doing it because there is no need. Only if one who has gone from here with that brief anagami, for example, who goes, then he is established in it, so he will then keep on removing whatever limited defilements are there and work on that. He will not get carried away by the sensory pleasures. That's the understanding.
Therefore, birth in a rarefied realm is not necessarily a preferred.
Well, according to Buddha, so he seems. I don't know. I don't know. I have no way of.
So in that case, there is no cessation also.
Yeah, because and we say he points out in Goenkaji also points out that at the time of passing away of the person in the Brahmaloka, suffering is enormous. Because he realizes he has the ability, he has the mental strength to know which realm he is getting born again. Then you have that ability because mind's concentration levels have been so high, you have got psychic powers. He sees, oh, I am going to be born as a worm or born as a pig. It's huge suffering. But then that suffering is not, there is no other time now for him to really investigate what is the cause of suffering and why it is happening. Because the death is, you read it, no? यम के मुख में पहुंच गया तब क्या होगा?
Comment.
This is क्या है पढ़ लो.
This is the most hard to accept and wait for clinging to fade away / dissolve / dissipate, etc.
Yeah. We don't need to wait really. We don't need to wait for clinging to dissolve completely. I don't think so. We have moment to moment experience, clinging dissolves, you are peaceful. That's it. So the Ajahn Buddhadasa used to call them your small nirvanas. Don't bother. Don't bother about complete cessation of suffering. It will happen when it has to happen. Why it has to be bothered? Because if you bother, then again you are creating expectation, creating suffering. Basically it is a tanha. So why? So the way out of freedom is through this very path of taking it in this stride. This is the way it is. Why bother कि जब ये सारे हमारे संस्कार खत्म हो जाएंगे, ऐसा नहीं होने वाला. It is understanding. And when time is right, it will happen. But within this our lifetime, within our every daily experience, we get upset and then we realize and give up, feel happy, we feel peaceful. So take joy, be happy with it. So the contemplation of joy and prashabdi in the Mahasatipatthana Sutta is very, very important. You don't have to contemplate only on suffering all the time. When you are experiencing it, be happy, be peaceful, see, and develop faith in the teaching of Buddha that ऐसा करने से भी सचमुच में शांति मिलती है. It's good enough. So if you feel concerned, as I remember many of us and I also used to feel concerned, पानी कब खत्म होंगे संस्कार? काहे को पचड़े पड़े संस्कारों को personally क्यों ले रहे हैं? Things are happening. It all happens because we take things personally. We take sanskars also personally, we take our defilements personally, and so forth. So if you can really start abiding in this understanding that there is no person who is suffering. It's not me, it's not mine, it's not myself. You can keep that abiding in that understanding more and more, you automatically suffering will fall down.
But thus the defilements are obviously because of specific actions or inactions that I have done or not.
Yeah, but that the stream of karma has been doing. And that is suffering. It's fine. The issue is that I am taking it personally. No? I am taking the suffering also personally. I am taking the defilements also personally. I am taking the achievement of meditation also personally. And I will suffer. As long as I take things personally, which means they belong to me, that's it, no?
तो बेटा उस हद तक तो पर्सनल है ना कि मैंने ही XYZ किया जिस वजह से
देखो वो जिसको मैं कह रहा हूँ किसने किया अब आपने पिछले जन्म में कुछ कर दिया, उसका असर ये है, तो आप उसको उसके साथ रिलेट कैसे कर सकते? आपने आज से 10 साल पहले कुछ किया, उसका असर आज रिजल्ट आया, तो आप कहेंगे कि वो मैंने किया। कन्वेंशनल लैंग्वेज में तो ठीक है, पर एब्सोल्यूट सेंस में तो आप है ही नहीं ना। वो जो उसने वो काम किया वो तो छुट्टी होगी उसकी, तो कोई और ही है। किसको आप मैं कहेंगे किसने किया? That's why they say the continuity is only like a stream, like a river. That is the only continuity. It is an apparent continuity. Things are arising, passing away, arising, passing away. Now that understanding has to get established. And I mean, it's obviously quite counterintuitive. That's why this issue has always been bothering people. That अगर कोई बंदा है ही नहीं तो सफर कौन कर रहा है? कोई है ही नहीं तो निर्वाण किसको मिलेगा? मुक्ति किसको मिलेगी? These questions have been repeatedly asked and answered in varieties of ways, so that one can really begin to understand it. And I think the most simple and most difficult at the same time is this answer. This is not me, this is not mine, this is not myself. You contemplate upon it, reflect upon it, see, investigate it. The more we investigate it, more we reflect it, it becomes easier to see. यार सचमुच में ऐसा ही है. And then as it becomes more and more kind of rather than esoteric teaching, it becomes a commonplace teaching, and you feel much lesser suffering. Suffering is reduced quite substantially.
So the question from Shailesh, if you don't take defilement personally, how do I get motivation to transcend?
Yeah, motivation is there. Suffering is the motivation. Defilements cannot be the motivation. There is an experience of suffering. The first noble truth is there is suffering, not I am suffering. There is suffering. And that suffering is itself a motivation, because I don't feel good in lying like the suffering. And the way out of it is to take it impersonally. And there is suffering, and you take it and understand it in the true sense that there is no one who is suffering, and you are free from suffering. So it's a very strange kind of a fact, which remains concealed all the time, all the time. We try all the ways of getting happiness in this world and fail. Then we realize there is no happiness in this world. And the moment you realize that there is no happiness in the world you can get, then you are really happy, peaceful. Because we have an understanding of happiness in a sensory delight, not in terms of peace. You can be peaceful even amidst a storm, and you can be kind of agitated even in peaceful situations. So that's the kind of paradoxical nature of reality. That's why people say you are searching for it throughout the world, and it is lying within you. You don't look at it there. There are so many, Kabir and others, so many ways they explain to us that what we are trying to search here and there, happiness इधर मिल जाए, उधर मिल जाए, कुछ नहीं, job, ये वो, and eventually we realize that it's not possible. Relationships, achievements, attainments, spirituality, dhyan, nothing will do. Because this domain is like that. This is the way it is. That's it. And once we accept that this is the way it is, then we are peaceful. Then we understand कि ऐसा ही होता रहता है. आते भी है, जाते भी है, मरते भी है, गाली पड़ती है, कहीं भी होती है. These are the loka dhammas. These are the characteristics of this loka.
So I have a question. Again, going by experience of meditation and right concentration, the Eightfold Path. And so when kind of a meditator follows that, one is proactively like, I should be doing this, I should be doing this, is Sheila's confidence. And then when you suddenly encounter this idea, not me, not myself. So, I mean, it's really difficult to relate also, because so far the everything is I doing or not doing.
Yeah.
And I don't know how can
This we discussed, when we were discussing that book, probably you weren't there in many of it. That book, Coming Out of Self-Deception, We studied it, I think, over 6 months or something, one chapter each. You also
I've heard
know
about it.
Rodney Smith's book.
I think we did it.
We did it. You were, some of them you were present because we discussed it over 6 months, something like that. And that is the real issue, you know, how he explains that. In the nutshell of it is that in the beginning one has to do that way only. In the beginning one has to do that way only. Take it personally and try to work and put an effort. But eventually, once you have stabilized, the mind has stabilized, is able to investigate deeply, because शुरू में आप investigate कैसे करेंगे? मन संयम में नहीं है, कंट्रोल में नहीं है, शांत नहीं है, तो इन्वेस्टिगेशन कैसे होगी? What is the nature of reality? You can't investigate. So in the beginning you have to do like that only. But then, as you mature, you don't remain children all the time. You then investigate deeply. And when we investigate, then we realize that the real freedom will come by giving up effort. When we become effortless. Because through effort, there is no end to it. So we realize अपने अनुभव से मालूम पड़ने लगे. But if you try to identify कि मेरे में 1 लाख संस्कार हैं और मैं आज एक गया, अब कल दूसरा गया, तीसरा गया, इससे होने वाला नहीं है. तो अनगिनत जन्म भगवान ने कहा ना, अनगिनत जन्म हुए तो अनगिनत जन्म आगे भी लगेंगे हमको. तो बड़ी होपलेस सिचुएशन हो गई. So that's the issue, you know. So we have to kind of two things which are apparently contradictory, but they are actually joining. It's like an example, when we give that vertical line and horizontal line intersecting. They are two different planes, but they are intersecting at now, at this moment. So at one level, at the relative level, you have to put an effort, of course, you have to practice. At the deeper level of understanding, at the absolute level, there is no one who is practicing. You are just being what you are. तो इन दोनों में सामंजस्य बिठाना, definitely it's quite tough. You know, at times you get carried away this way, at times you get carried away. You can get carried away in either way. Either way. You can get carried away कि भाई the way things are, things are, छोड़ो तो क्या करना है, बैठे ऐश करो, जो मर्जी आए करो. Getting to other complication. Other thing is कि नहीं मेहनत करे जाओ, कुआं नहीं खोदोगे, पानी कैसे मिलेगा आपको? तो जाओ खोदोगे, पानी मिलेगा और फिर don't get freedom because वो आपको मिल रहा है ना. Freedom का मतलब है, you know, that is a very beautiful sentence which I think made great impact on me many years ago when I read it. And I was going through all this turmoil of understanding. There is no one who gets liberated. Liberation is getting over the illusion of personality. There is a very profound insight which needs to be deeply reflected upon. But if I was that I should get liberated, there is a fundamental flaw in that sentence itself. So if I am going to stay there and still get liberated, it's not possible. It's just not possible. As long as I is there will be you, and there will be conflict. So
the liberation is from the I.
Liberation actually is from the notion of I. Illusion of personality. That's the word Ajahn Sumedho uses. There is no person who gets liberated. तो आप कहते थे ना यहाँ बैठे हुए हैं, हम ये सगा बनना हाथ खड़ा करो. How many of your egos to say that I am this and I am that? So then obviously people must be getting flustered. क्या करें इसको? So they are all descriptions of the path, not things to be taken personally.
So one thing that I have personally found very useful, which I mentioned in last one of my last slides, was that this question of you finding that you need to do something, you need to meditate or anything like that, and then if you don't have that mindset, then how would you act? How would you meditate? Right? So I found that that when I looked at it deeply, I was mentioning in the The last one was that you actually know what needs to be done. Right? You actually know what needs to be done, but we believe that we'll only do when we are upset about it. Right? For example, if you look at somebody else who's upset about something, right? If you see circumstances की वजह से बहुत upset है, what would you do? You will say, यार, there's no need to be upset. You will not benefit you. कुछ नहीं होगा आपसे होने से. Do this next action. This will take you out of the problem. Right? If you do it to yourself, you will easily come to know what needs to be done without being upset about it. हम लोग का एक इंटरनल एक एटलीस्ट ये परसेप्शन बना रहता है कि until I am dissatisfied with what the situation is, until I am upset about this situation, I will not act. Right? But you generally know what next to be done, and being upset is the superimposed feeling that you have. And when I look at it, see what is the right thing to be done at that moment, how do you know it? I did not get an answer. Maybe you would know from your current understanding what needs to be done and you do it. There is nothing called an absolute understanding telling you what needs to be done that moment. Whatever is your correct understanding, you just go and do that next action. So, and similarly, for example, when I shared with her also that during this time when I felt here, there is no need to meditate. And during the days when I was not meditating, I found that I was not much aware. That investigation itself showed, okay, I should go and meditate. Right? There's nothing to be taken personally or being upset. मुझे समझ तो ये आया था कि इसकी जरूरत नहीं है, मुझे हो नहीं रहा. Versus this, versus that. If you feel that this is what you are seeing, that next action is, if you meditate, you feel more aware in the day. Do it. It's a natural response to the situation rather than anything else.
Is there anything else written there? नहीं करना पड़ता है. So we will have chance to study only that, what it is, what the effacement is not. Anam ko panetam chunda vidyati yam vidyakatso likhu vivech kamehi vivech akusalehi dhammehi savittattam savicharam vivekajanti sukham patvam dhyanam upsampadhyavya. Now, what is interesting is that exactly the same words would be used everywhere. So the descriptions now after this there is a description of 4 dhyanas. Now the words which have been used, if you remember it once, you know for sure this is going to be happening. So whether you read Satipatthana, whether you read any other sutta, exactly same description is there of the dhyanas. Everything. Of sati, of dhyanas. So that probably it has some memory aids also, and in some sense definitely that this is what it is. No issues of no hanky-panky about. So what he is doing is, he is describing that a monk who will be detached from sense objects, detached from unsalutary ideas, he enters into first absorption. This is first jhana, which is born from detachment accompanied by thought, conception and discursive thinking, and then he is filled with joy, piti sukham, and then he might think, I am abiding in higher life. Tasya evamassa salekhanam viharamati. Or he thinks, I am abiding in higher life, or I am abiding in, this is the effacement. Nakhon kaneda chunda ariyasya vinaya sallekha uchanti. In the ariyasya vinaya मतलब ariyas noble path के अंदर उसको सल्लेख नहीं कहा था, उसको higher life नहीं कहा था. नखो कनेक चुंद ariyasya vinaya sallekha uchanti. देखते धम्मा सुख विहारा इते अरियस्य विनय उच्चते. हिंदी अरियों के जो बात है, जो डिसिप्लिन है, उसमें उसको कहते हैं, you are abiding in ease and peacefully. You are peaceful abiding. You are abiding in ease here and now. देखते धम्मा सुख विहारा इते और ये 7 ये सुख विहार, सुख से विहार करता है. ये this is what it is called in the discipline of the Arya 7 even क्या बताते हैं discipline. तो अर्य लोगों का जो discipline है उसमें इसको ऐसा कहते हैं. So exactly same thing is repeated with respect to all the 4 dhyanas. You can see now. Second, third and fourth dhyana. So everywhere he will describe what is the dhyana, which we have already studied many times. And then he will say that in noble movement discipline, this is not called higher life, it is called abiding in ease here. You can see second dhyana, third dhyana, fourth dhyana, fifth dhyana, sixth dhyana, seventh dhyana, everything. With everything he uses the same words. In one case it is saying abiding in ease here and now. After fourth dhyana it is abiding in peace. That's the only difference. No other difference. Okay. So you can see he puts aside all the dhyanas as not being the true effacement or higher life. And what is higher life?
Buddha puts aside all the meditation.
He puts aside from the perspective of putting them as higher life, putting them as achievement, putting them as effacement, putting them as real progress in the path of dharma. He is saying again and again, this is not higher life. This is not called higher life. You see the words which he uses?
Yeah.
Sallekhana viharamati. Sallekh means higher life. Or it can say real effacement of all the impurities, removing of all the impurities, or real penance, real austerities. This is not called real austerity. This is called peaceful abiding, or this is called abiding in ease, peace. So, what is Sallekha? What is higher life? Idikho Tanavo Chundo, Sallekho Karaniya. But Chunda, you should practice Sallekha, your effacement, or whatever is a higher life in this manner. How? When he gives the whole list of 44 things to be done. And you will be surprised, you will say, ये तो बड़ी छोटी सी बात है, इसमें क्या बात है? ये वैसे बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग. करे हिंसिका भवन सुनती है, अगर हिंसिका भवन. दूसरे लोग जो है वो हिंसा करेंगे, हम हिंसा नहीं करेंगे. सल्लेख हो करनी है. दिस इज व्हाट इज अफेसमेंट. See, isn't it? So, following Shila is effacement, getting into dhyana is not effacement. That is peaceful abiding. It's a phenomenal change. Totally different kind of perspective is presented. You read them, you say, oh, Shila की बात हो रही है, others will kill living beings, will abstain, others will not take what is given. They are all basic Shila. It's talking about starting from there. Then of course we extended it in a much greater sense. It's, for example, for speaking, yes, first 4 things Shila hai. Chastity, not stealing, not killing, not hurting. Then speaking falsehood, speaking maliciously, speaking harshly, gossiping. They're all a part of Samma Vacha. When you see.
यहाँ पर तो थोड़ा सा समझ आता है, हम लोग बहुत गॉसिप करते हैं.
No, it depends. If you talk of, what is the instruction of Buddha and gossiping? Once he noticed the monks are talking about, उनसे पूछा क्या बात कर रहे हो? वो राजा की बात कर रहे थे, हमारे राजा की परेशानी हो रही है. You're not supposed to do that. If you are talking, you should talk about Dhamma. Talk about understanding Dhamma. Question is either about Dhamma. Clarify your doubts. Or keep quiet. That's it. So gossip means other things. Not what we are doing here.
लंच ग्रुप की बात करो.
Even there, since you have been telling me that in the lunch group also you do this, that's the issue.
Yeah.
I didn't mean it in any figurative sense.
We should have a session at the lunch time now.
Because you have been sharing it with me. So these are the various shilas. Then there is wrong views, wrong intention, wrong speech, wrong action, wrong livelihood. You can see they are all basic shilas which you have to follow about. So wrong effort, wrong mindfulness, wrong concentration, wrong knowledge. So we added something. So wrong knowledge has been added. Wrong deliverance also is put down. Is liberation. He is even talking of that. तरे मिच्छा विमुक्ति भविष्यति, मैं एकता सम्मा विमुक्ति भविष्यति. So So Michya Vimukti means wrong liberation. You have mistaken conception of liberation, and there is something called the right deliverance. Then you see further all the hindrances have been mentioned. See? So other will be overcome by sloth and torpor, will be agitated, will be doubting, then they will add something more. Others will be angry, hostile, they will be harsh, they will be malicious, they will be envious. These are all addition to the various kinds of defilements which one can experience. Others will be miserly, will be fraudulent, will be hypocrites, will be obstinate, will be arrogant, will be difficult to admonish. Now this is also interesting to see this.
Difficult to admonish.
Difficult to admonish means in the sense of teaching. That's the word they use. When a teacher teaches, he is admonishing. It doesn't mean in terms of reprimand. Then obstinacy, then this, then others will have bad friends, noble friends, negligent, heedful, faithless, faithful. Now these two things again, shameless, no fear of wrongdoing. So when they say, "Arey, fear ki baat kahan se aa gayi?" But that is seen as a one of the good virtues, one of the good mental factors, hiri and utappa. Hiri means feeling shame of doing wrong things, utappa means being afraid of doing wrong. So they are also seen in that manner. Then having learning, Hare apasukta bhavisyanti mayamir bhavusukta bhavan. So we have learned a lot. We have got the proper learning about it. Then others will be lazy. Then laziness, lacking in mindfulness, without wisdom, and then getting caught in the views, misapprehending according to these. So this is how he identifies 44 different things which are true defacement. So you can see they are all part of our practice of the various kinds of shilas, various meditative difficulties which we experience and leave them aside. They are in his opinion, the real abiding in higher life. They are the means of abiding. Then he is talking about thoughts, and again, in fact, all these 44 are repeated in terms of avoidance. That what is a person who is given to harmlessness, here he is trying to compare, now he is trying to say what you should do. So just as there is a road by which you are going and there is another road which is better, then you should take a better road, not take an uneven road. In a similar manner, a person who is given to harmlessness has non-harming by which to avoid it. It's in fact a repetition of the same thing in different words. So how do we, what should we do? Instead of instead of stealing, avoid stealing. So the same thing is being repeated, in order to impress upon the fact that what is the way you can avoid it, what is the practice you can do. A person given to anger has non-anger and so on. And this he says is the way upward. So you can see all the 44, and then he says, Chinda, Suyakati Chinda, ye kechi akusala dhamma sabbe te adho bhagga gamni. So जो भी अकुशल धर्म है वो अधो भाग में नीचे ले जाएंगे. ये जी कुशला धर्म सब्बे ते ऊपरी भागम गमनी है. जो कुशल धर्म है सब उनको ऊपर ले जाएंगे. So this is the distinction he makes. So what is that? Then he goes on to say, पुरुष पुग्गला विहिंसा पुरुष पुग्गला अविहिंसा होती उपरी भागा. So a person who is given to harmfulness, if he takes harmlessness, that is the way for him to go upwards. So again, same thing being repeated in another way of saying that whether you are going down or whether you are going up. So all the 44 are repeated again in this. But in between there are certain very important statements made which need to be seen. For example, is this statement, Sovat Shunda Attana Palipallanno Param Palipalipannam Udhari Siddhi Vekam Thanam Vijiti. Vekam Thanam Vijiti, this is not possible. What? Attana Palipallo Panno Param Attana Palipallo Khulvo Palipallo the march. It's not possible that a person who is caught in the march, he will be able to pull out another who is in the march. It's not possible. But it is possible that one who is not in the march can pull out another person in the march. So, then he says, it is not possible that one who is himself not restrained can discipline another. Then he goes on to speak all those, that if one has to discipline,
for raising children.
So everything is there that if you are given to anger, then you cannot discipline others to be non-angry. If you are given to cheating, you cannot discipline others to be non-cheating. And so all those 44 things are again repeated from this perspective of being a teacher, because Mahachunda is the Arhant, and of course probably all of us need to listen to it. Because monks are by training expected to teach others. I said then be careful about it. Then what he said ends, Iti Kochunda Desito Maya Sallekha Pariyaya. So I have explained to you the instruction. Pariyaya is instruction on a face. Desito Chittu Pada Pariyaya. I have shown to you how the thoughts of various kinds arise. Desito Upari Bhavo Pariyayo Desito Parinibbanam Bhavo. I have shown you Parikammanna Pariyaya. I have shown you how to avoid, I have shown you how do you go up, and I have shown you how to quench the things. I couldn't do anything more than that. That's the next sentence. Yam Kochunda Satthara Karaniyam Savakanam Kesina Anukampena Anukampam Upadaya. Whatever a teacher can do for his disciple, for his welfare, out of and has compassion and pity on them, I have done that for you. Now what do? Etani Chunda Rukha Mulani Etani Sunyagara. Chunda Mapa Madutta Mapa Tacha Vipatti Sarano Attha. So these are the trees, these are the empty places or caves. Go and meditate, otherwise you will regret later. I am ko Amahakam.
इसमें क्या है?
ध्यान करो. I am ko Amahakam Anusasana. This is my teaching to you. This is the message. Idam Mocha Bhagavad. This is how the Blessed One spoke. Attamano Ayasma Mahachundo Bhagavato Bhasitam Abhinandani. This is what the Blessed One, the Venerable Mahachunda was delighted and satisfied in the words. Then this, because of the importance of the sutta, they have added this 4 lines. These are added by the Theras after the first concept. चतुर्ताली सपदा गुप्ता 44 होता है ना हिंदी में, इसका पाली पाठ है चतुर्ताली. These 44 verses have been spoken. Sandhayo Panchadesikā Samyeko नाम सुत्तंतो गंभीरो सार रूपो मतलब. इसमें गंभीर है और सार से भरा हुआ ये कोर्स है, जिसमें कि 44 आइटम दिए गए. 44 आइटम. That's the Sallekha Suttam for us.
So one more question from Shailesh sir.
Make the tea.
Email. This Thursday, last Thursday.
For this question you have made, only one attachment.
We should have got 2. Should have got 3. One English, one Hindi, one English. Tamagala. Okay. There's a question from Shailesh. Equanimity comes from Shila as base. So why equanimity not being higher life?
Yeah, equanimity is probably not mentioned here as directly because it's the result of practice. Directly mentioned
शिव में भी मेंशन किया है कि इक्वालिटी आने से आपको लगेगा आप हाई लाइफ में आ गए, बट ऐसा नहीं है.
वो तो उसके लिए ज्ञानों के लिए है ना. But it's probably meaning that equanimity has not been mentioned as a. So here mostly things are mentioned which should be avoided. Those are the things mentioned. The rest of the things need to be cultivated. So he is not mentioned, for example, about factors of enlightenment. He has mentioned what should be avoided. Abasement means what should be given up. So what should be given up is these 44 things. अभी तक तो 5 शील थे, अब 44.
I think his question is probably related to this. ये जो 6 में mention किया है ना.
अच्छा, that is a part of the dhyana. If you are referring to this, Raman is right. It is actually part of equanimity which is experienced as a part of dhyana. But equanimity is also the result of practice of these abiding. So it will become less harmful, less killing people than equanimity. So all those factors of enlightenment he is not mentioned. He has mentioned what should be given up. Sallekha, is a typical word which has so many different meanings. I try to find out. But basically one was meaning was austere, another was penance, another was higher life. So I changed it slightly, and wherever I felt I did higher life, other places then I did penance. Good. Anything else?
There's some always discussion on effort going back. Rodney Smith वाला भी जिक्र था, उसके बाहर भी मैंने देखा है. But there are also instances where the insights suddenly come. Are you suggesting that that's a consequence of continuous?
The stream of evolution is happening, and insight is coming. It's not a predictable thing that today it should happen. I have meditated for 60 days and it should happen. Like that. You know, the analogy which is usually given, in the modern terms, I will give you an analogy. And Buddha also gives that analogy in old methods of metaphors. If you have a balance, on one side you have 100 kg, and other side you add 1 gram. Till 99.99 grams, the balance will not tip. It will remain there. And then adding 1 gram and the whole thing takes. So it seems that 1 gram से कुछ हुआ, ऐसा नहीं है. 99.99 kilogram रखे गए थे भाई.
Our philosophy teacher back in college used to teach us the same thing this way. We plant the seed inside the soil. We keep watering it and it gets all
Chinese bamboo tree.
Many days it will not come out.
Yeah, and you see what's happening, and suddenly when you see the shoot, you say, yeah, there has been development.
All this while it was actually going deeper. And then suddenly one day it comes out.
Chinese bamboo tree, for example, the
One question to that.
4 years.
That
It remains.
Is there a modern Hindi version of the word?
मुझे मिला नहीं. I can't find out really.
For 4 years.
आपको मुझे तो बता देना, मुझे कुछ मिला नहीं मैंने. I saw it in dictionary, English dictionary, Hindi dictionary, ऐसा ही था.
On the 5th year, within months, it
Yes,
goes to
I can tell you all the range of meanings. Just wait for a minute. I have the dictionary here. There is a whole lot of research done on this word Sallekha, but what is the exact meaning is very difficult. It says Sallekha, austere, penance, the higher life. Then it gives all examples of this, wherever it occurs. Then Sallekha, Sallekitachara, practicing higher penance. These are the various meanings given in the dictionary, the Pali, in the text dictionary, Pali English dictionary. So I couldn't find out in equivalent Hindi is not given there. In fact, equivalent Sanskrit is not given also. Normally they write down equivalent something which is a Sanskrit derivative. Even that is not mentioned. So maybe it is a kind of archaic word and no longer used or something.
So I had an observation here. When I first came here, like 2.5 years ago, 2.5 years. So my concept of higher life was more related to these things that we have actually studied today. And I never had any background of meditation, and so all that was new for me. And then over the couple of years, the noble truths and sort of contemplation and meditation and how important that is, and that the fact that Shila is just a basic, but beyond that you have to. Now these verses almost to me seem like going back to that, where it almost seems to put it in the other way, saying, and maybe that's a balance when I say how. But it's interesting, this seems to be very somewhat different than the general.
It's only seems actually, right? Because to avoid speaking falsehood, maybe good for you because you have the past sankharas of that time. For most people it's not easy. They need to practice it. They need to practice control over their mind so that they don't speak false. बड़े बड़े लोग झूठ बोल जाते हैं, इतने संस्कृत झूठ बोल जाते हैं, और एग्जैगरेशन तो होता ही है, आगे रखना, एग्जैगरेट करना, then overcoming all the hindrances. It's not possible. Just by knowing it, it's not possible to do it. So you need to do something. What do something is? Observation, practice, meditation, which is whatever name you give it. So this is trying to list out कि भाई कहीं गलत चक्कर में मत पड़ जाना, उसको मत समझ लेना, ये है. अभी कैसे होगा वो तो इसमें एक्सप्लेन नहीं किया गया ना. That is a part of, because there are so many other discourses where all that is explained.
Maybe what this is pointing out is that process of contemplation, meditation, eventually should lead to knowledge.
Yes.
If it is not,
Then you are doing something
you are
else.
probably lost somewhere else.
Yeah, you are doing something else.
Then you are.
Also, it's difficult to get to these Brahman without the stability that meditation gives you. That's how I have understood.
I know some of the words are actually of that kind. Now let me read out to you. Paramichha Vayama, okay, wrong effort. Paramichha Sati, wrong concentration, wrong mindfulness. How do you go from wrong mindfulness to right mindfulness? Right mindfulness is Sphurtatigatthana, isn't it? Then Paramichha Samadhi Bhavisyanti, Samma Samadhi. Samma Samadhi has to be practiced. So they are included in a manner that they become a part of the whole kind of bouquet of things to be remembered. Okay, sir, thank you. Sivakar and Suresh. Any other questions? Then you can give rest to the internet. So next week our friend will come and present. उसने कहा था ना, commit तो किया था.
अभी तो गया हुआ है सर का राखी गली.
हाँ?
राखी गली.
अच्छा, वो तो कहा था ना पुणे जाना है, मुझे कहीं जाना था.
नहीं तो इस वीकेंड तो नहीं. Maybe next week हमारा लॉन्ग वीकेंड है ना. लॉन्ग.
क्या है नेक्स्ट वीकेंड में?
तो मंडे को वो है.
I think 2 दिन छुट्टियां एक साथ पड़ रही हैं.
एक साथ
इलेक्शन भी आ रहा है.
फिर मंडे को है अम्बेडकर जयंती एंड नेक्स्ट फ्राइडे इज
गुड फ्राइडे.
गुड फ्राइडे.
Actually 2 बार लॉन्ग वीकेंड पड़ रहे हैं ना.
14 को भी और 18 को.
तो इलेक्शन भी आ रहा है. तो एक छुट्टी लेके 4 बन जाती है इसमें.